So my original plan was to make a video about the Super Bowl ads and the trailers and all that, which honestly I changed my mind. I don't want to do that. There were a couple of good ones. The Infinity War one, you know, I busted a minor nerdgasm, but other than that, this was what was on my mind when I woke up. Besides drinking some water and rehydrating myself from the alcohol that I consumed, I said I want to do a video about somewhat of the history of black superheroes on film. Now, we are about a week away from Black Panther, and I cannot wait to go see it. I'm taking my daughter. It's going to be a family affair, and it is just a great time to be alive where we actually see this on the screen. Prior to Black Panther, we've had other superheroes black superheroes grace the big screen, and they were pretty laughable. And some were okay, and some would really kick things off. If you want to get technical with it, the first black superhero that we saw on screen was Black Superman, and this was back in the 70s. It was during the blaxploitation era, which I did a video about. Don't ask me the plot. I don't know what it was about. I just know that this dude had this ability where he would look at something and you would hear this weird noise, and then he can change like whatever he wanted to change. It was weird. It was real low budget. It was corny. It was bad, but it was called Black Superman. So technically, that's the first black superhero on film. Now we get to the 80s. The 80s. Let me see. There were no black superheroes on screen in the 80s. Probably the closest thing that we got to a black superhero probably was Kincaid in Elm Street 3: The Dream Warriors. Because think about it, what other movie that you know of back in the 80s where the brother had some superpowers? And I'm not talking about B.A. Baracus. B.A. Baracus don't count. B.A. Baracus was human, he was strong, he was Mr. T, but he wasn't a superhero. Kincaid was kind of like a superhuman superhero because he did whip Freddy's ass a little bit. So I guess Kincaid can kind of count. We did have Meteor Man back in 1990 with Robert Townsend. That actually happened. Yeah, Meteor Man. Jesus. Bruh, nah. Blank Man with Damon Wayans. I know Blank Man was not supposed to be taken seriously. It was a comedy, but yeah, still. Okay, I had to mention Blank Man. Steel. Steel.
Throw it! Quick! Throw it! I never made these!
Then Spawn dropped, okay, and Spawn is not Marvel or DC. I think Spawn is oh man, help me out. What's the comic book company that Spawn belongs to? I want to say Dark Horse, but I don't think that's it either. But anyways, yeah, Spawn was like the first superhero on screen that we've seen that was a legitimate character that was taken seriously. And yeah, it was criticized for not sticking to the Spawn story in the comic book, but it's a movie adaptation, so I understood what they did. And personally, me, being that I really didn't read the Spawn comic books, it didn't bother me. I thought the movie was entertaining. The effects are dated now. When you watch it, like the CGI is really 90-ish, but that's how it was at that time. But I thought Spawn was entertaining for what it was, and it was cool to see a legitimate black superhero on screen. So I think Spawn did it well. And then Wesley Snipes came with Blade and took it to another level. Now, from my understanding, the story goes is that Wesley Snipes originally wanted to make a Black Panther movie, but I think he was really sold on the character of Blade because he had a sword, and I guess he always wanted to work with swords because he's a martial artist. He wanted to show off his martial arts skills, and he thought the sword was cool, so he ended up doing Blade instead of Black Panther. But originally he was going to do Black Panther, but he came with Blade. And Blade, I don't care what nobody says, Blade is the reason that we have an MCU. Blade is the reason why comic book movies and superhero movies got jump-started back into mainstream, into the media, because before Blade came out, Marvel was going belly up. Nobody cared about superhero movies. Batman and Robin had flopped. It was a joke in Hollywood. And then Blade came with this new concept of not just this hero with a cape and a do-gooder, but he was an anti-hero. He killed vampires. It was rated R. It was bloody. It was based off a Marvel character, and it was successful. So guess what? The money geniuses said, we can make a buck doing this, So then X-Men followed, Spider-Man followed, and then the MCU followed. So Blade was the beginning of that. Blade was the OG superhero film. But what makes Black Panther special is that it takes place in Africa, man. It's about an African king and the whole African culture, and how they're not just, you know, women with their boobs out and people running around chasing giraffes and lions and shit. You know, these are actually cultured Africans, man, that are educated, that are brilliant, and that are warriors and strong. And that's something that we've never seen. So I'm mad proud of that, man. So yeah, but if you look back in the history of superhero movies, though, we've always been the secondary character. We've always been the sidekick. I mean, even with these Marvel movies, I mean, think about it. Falcon is the sidekick to Captain America. War Machine is the sidekick to Iron Man. But they're, even though they play a good part, but then they are minor characters. They are the sidekick characters to the main characters. And here comes Black Panther, who is the Prince of Wakanda. He's the king of Wakanda. And he's like his own man, his own character, and that's just cool as hell. I just know Ryan Coogler is gonna come through. I have no doubt in my mind that this movie is gonna be special. And either way, man, it's gonna make a shit ton of money. And man, I'm just mad proud of this movie, man. I haven't even seen it yet, but I'm proud of it, man. So, what are your thoughts on Black Panther? Do you think it's gonna be the shit? Do you think it's gonna be a flop? What are your thoughts on other films, black superhero films before that? And yeah, man, you know, leave your comments below. Hit the subscribe button if you like the content here. Thanks for watching. As always, this is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video. I know that's probably a bad T'Challa.